And let's start with number 3 here. It's going to go to 1, the world titles, and 2, another title that is rapidly shooting up to the top of the card in every single event. At number 3 is one of the world titles, though, and that's Gunther. Now, he is somebody who has the capability to be at number 1 of this list for years on end. But this feud with Jey Uso is kind of, I don't want to say ruined. It hasn't ruined Gunther's world title reign, but it's kind of killed the momentum. Kind of what I talked about yesterday. The momentum is definitely slowed a little bit. Now, part of that is timing, because that's the only person that Gunther has been feuding with since the beginning of 2025. So we're going on 3 months. It's going to be nearly 4 months by the time this feud is over with, and we get a payoff to this matchup. But outside of this feud with Jey Uso, which we'll get back to, he's been a dominant champion. He's been great as a champion. Rarely does Gunther have a bad match. And now that I think about it, I don't think he's had a bad match since he became World Heavyweight Champion. And that is including matches on Monday Night Raw with Akira Tozawa, which was a squash match. It was still a great match. And a match with Otis. And he is still, I mean, the one with Axiom was also very entertaining. He doesn't miss in the ring. And he's become so much better on the mic. He is excellent at this point on the mic. I would put him toe-to-toe with most on the roster outside of the Mike All-Stars, outside of the Drew McIntyres, who's on another level right now, the CM Punks, who's always on another level, the John Cenas, who, we'll get to that, has not been allowed to be on another level, and even the Cody Rhodes. Outside of them, I think Gunther can go toe-to-toe on any given day with anybody at all. And because of that, it feels like he is going to be, whether he loses at Mania and then has to come back at a different time and start a second world title reign or not, he is going to be one of the best champions the WWE has seen in quite some time. Now, the Jey Uso feud. It has kind of softened what Gunther has put together for his first world title reign in WWE. But, like I said, Gunther rarely has a bad match. And the biggest concern, for at least the people that are concerned, and it's a small portion of the fan base, but for the people that are concerned about Jey and performing at Mania, do you forget how good the match was between Gunther and Jey at Saturday night's main event in January? It was phenomenal. Do you forget that Jey Uso has put on bangers in the past? The tag match against Roman Reigns, phenomenal. The SummerSlam title match against Roman Reigns, phenomenal. Put him in a match with Gunther, it's going to be good. And all of the buildup, all of the consternation about the buildup is going to be forgotten about, because the match at Mania is going to be great. Now, the lead up to Mania is the biggest downfall of this entire thing, but I think it finally took a turn on Monday. Going into Monday, I said this entire thing is losing momentum. I mean, the feuding with A-Town Down Under, the insertion of, the Alpha Squad, American Alpha, or whatever you want, Alpha Academy, that's what it was. I keep mixing up them and Chad's new group, but Alpha Academy, I mean, it felt not like a world title feud heading into WrestleMania. But the insertion of Jimmy Uso, him entering the fray here, I think has saved the build for this. I'm not worried about the match. I've never been worried about the match, but bringing Jimmy Uso in, tying in the botches to nerves on Jey Uso's side, it feels like it's finally hitting that next level. It feels like it's finally starting to become a world title feud. If Gunther gets through Jey Uso at WrestleMania and they keep the belt on the ring general, he needs to start mowing down challengers. And that's what Post-Mania is for. Post-Mania is for quick turns. Match at Backlash. Next. Match at whatever the next pay-per-view after that will be. Next. Match at Clash in Paris. Next. That is what he needs to do if he gets through this. And if he does that, very quickly could he become number 2 or number 1. But as of right now, I have Gunther as my number 3 champion in WWE. Number 2, the person that has supplanted him because of the work that has been done over the last 2 weeks, it's Bron Breakker. and he is gaining ground rapidly on Cody Rhodes. I don't know if he'd ever be able to catch him, but he's certainly going to make it close the way that he's going right now. He is bringing that Intercontinental title back into the spotlight and restoring it to what it was when Gunther held it for all that time. Because once Gunther dropped it, yeah, Sammy's title reign was fine. And then it was bounced back and forth between Bron and Bron, then Jay, then Bron again. And then Bron Breakker wasn't featured on PLEs. He wasn't featured on Monday Night Raw a lot. He wasn't wrestling a lot. He wasn't defending the title. And he said, oh no, the Intercontinental title is just, it's done. It's gone. Well, once again, it feels main event worthy. And why is that? Why does it feel main event worthy? Well, for one, because it actually has people gunning for the title, right? The main event scene right now, yeah, everybody wanted it in the Royal Rumble. Everybody always wants it in the Royal Rumble. But it doesn't feel like anybody, at least champion-wise, has as many challengers lining up to take what they have, like Bron Breakker and his Intercontinental title. AJ Styles, at one point in this WrestleMania build, faced off, and they teased that matchup. Finn Balor last week on the main event. Penta this week in the main event. Sheamus, whenever he reemerges, what title is he going to go after? The Intercontinental Championship, because it's the only one he's never won. Ludwig Kaiser wants to get in on the Intercontinental Championship. Dom Mysterio is going to throw his hat in the ring for the Intercontinental Championship. There is so many people that are gunning for this title that it makes it feel important. That is something that WWE needs to hit Command C and then Command V on and make sure that they start doing it for some of these other championships. You've seen it a little bit with the Women's Intercontinental Championship now that we've gotten a couple of different people, whether it be Ivy Nile, whether it be Dakota Kai, whether it be Raquel Rodriguez. They're starting to get people to line up for that, and there's a lot of people lined up for this one. That's reason number one, is that there's a lot of people that want it. Reason number two is Bron Breakker is just that damn good. He is a great champion. He's been cutting great promos. He's been having great matches. And it doesn't feel like he's unbeatable, right? Because if he was unbeatable, that's one thing. But it feels like, yeah, there's a chance he beat Bron Breakker, but you have to be on your game. It can end at any moment, but at the same time, you trust that Bron Breakker, if there's a slip up in the least, he's going to be the one to take advantage. So while he doesn't feel like he is an unbeatable, unstoppable forces champion, he still feels dominant. It's a weird situation. It's a weird dichotomy, but it's one that I've thoroughly enjoyed, right? Because going into that match, yeah, you probably thought on Monday, something's going to happen. Judgment Day is going to get involved. But if they would have went straight up and had Penta win, would it have been the biggest surprise in the world? No, because Penta and Bron feel like they're on the same level. Finn Balor and Bron feel like they're on the same level. If they would have went AJ Styles versus Bron, which I called a dream match, and I still think it is, they feel like they're on the same level. Sheamus, whenever we went up against Bron Breakker, it felt like they were on the same level. There's not an overpowered champion. There is a very good champion that you have to be on your P's and Q's. Otherwise, you're going to get blown out of the building. But it doesn't feel like he's unbeatable. And I think that is a huge part in all of this. Make it feel like there's a little bit of drama with his title defenses. And that's what we felt in the main event, no less, of the last two Monday Night Raws in a big spot, because it's not just random Monday Night Raws. It's two straight Monday Night Raws on the road to WrestleMania in front of European audiences. That's a huge, huge vote of confidence in Bron Breakker and everything since that triple threat match. Breakker versus Ludwig versus Sheamus. And I believe that was at Survivor Series or War Games or whatever it is. Survivor Series, War Games. Since then, this title reign has gone from stagnant to light speed, and I've enjoyed every single moment of it. We're going to get a great matchup at WrestleMania, whether that's the Fatal 4-Way with Penta, Balor, and Mysterio, or maybe, just maybe, they come around to putting Styles and Paul into that matchup instead of having it a one-on-one. But again, that's just Dream Street. I know it's going to be Styles versus Paul at WrestleMania in a I guess I've been here all along, working my ass off to get here, and you just showed up feud. Sure, it works. I don't know how many times you can do that same feud with Logan Paul before it gets stale, but hey, anything AJ Styles does, I'm tuned in for. But I'm definitely going to be tuned in for everything that Bron Breakker in the Intercontinental Championship has in store for the next couple of weeks leading into WrestleMania. And at number 1, this comes as no surprise, some people don't like his title reign. To those people, I say, why? What more do you want out of his title reign? Current champion, number 1 champion in the WWE, the quarterback of WWE, self-proclaimed at least, Cody Rhodes. So he's going to be at number 1. His run, as with any lengthy run, has had his peaks and valleys. Yeah, the Logan Paul matchup at King and Queen of the Ring was okay. US champ versus WWE champ, whatever. Good title defense, though. The Bloodline 2.0 feud had potential to be great. Ended up falling flat. The Crown Jewel Championship was, well, it was what it was. Yeah, it was okay. But it started with a bang with the AJ Styles feud. A great matchup at Backlash in Lyon, France. And then a great matchup in the I Quit match a little bit later after AJ pulled the Mark Henry fake retirement stuff. So his feud with AJ Styles was a really solid jumping off point for his title reign. But what you want out of your top champion is for them to create entertaining matchups, to win entertaining matchups, but once Mania season comes around, his best work comes out. And that's what we've seen. It started with the Kevin Owens feud. That wasn't really Mania season. That was what, October of last year during Bad Blood when that kicked off? The entire Kevin Owens feud was perfection. I loved every single moment of it, and it culminated in a ridiculously entertaining and ridiculously hard-hitting ladder match at the Royal Rumble. He retains, and now we're onto the road of WrestleMania after a A++ feud with Kevin Owens. And now we're getting this John Cena feud. This is a title reign defining matchup. Cody versus Cena. It could be the last, but if it's the last, it goes out with a bang. If it's not, then it is a tentpole moment in Cody Rhodes' first world title reign. The thing I will say about this, and I want to put my face back on the screen for this one if you're watching on YouTube, they need to take the kid gloves off really badly. You got to let John Cena punch back. I don't want to be the person that comes out and says that Cody Rhodes can't handle it, because I don't think that's the case. I think Cody can handle it. But I think as of right now, they are walking this down the street with John Cena not going after Cody Rhodes and preferring to unpack all the baggage that he has carried for 25 years towards the fans. Eventually, that has to snap, and we're running low on time right now. You have under 25 days till WrestleMania, and all we've heard from John Cena is how disappointed he is in the fans, how upset he is with the fans, how much he wants to break up with the fans, and he wants to ruin wrestling for the fans. And Cody Rhodes is coming out to defend the fans. At some point, Cody needs to go off on John Cena for what he did at Elimination Chamber, and John Cena has to turn his target to Cody Rhodes. You got to take the kid gloves off. I understand this new John Cena is supposed to be not giving anything to wrestling fans, right? He's not getting you new gear. He's not giving you new music. Shoot, he's not giving you those viral moments when he cooks people on the mic. But that's what this feud needs. This feud needs John Cena to snap and to go after Cody Rhodes on the mic the way that we know John Cena can. And I understand. Listen, you want your babyface to look like the guy that wins on the mic, and he has for 2 weeks. It's time. London, England. Kid gloves need to come off. John Cena needs to take his focus off of the however many thousands of people that'll be in the O2 Arena, and he needs to focus it in on one person, and that's the WWE Champion, Cody Rhodes. It needs to evolve, this storyline. I've liked the 2 promos that John Cena has cut against the fans. It makes sense. It flows. He's obviously still great on the mic. go after the guy that you're going to go after on WrestleMania night 1, because the kid from Brussels, I mean, he might be, but most of the people that were in Brussels aren't going to be there in Vegas. Most of the people that were there in Scotland aren't going to be there in Vegas. It's a new audience every time, and I understand it is the collective, the royal you people is what John Cena is throwing out there. But eventually, for the entertainment of all, he has to go in after Cody Rhodes. And maybe that I'm walking right into what he wants. Maybe me saying this is him saying, yeah, that's what you want. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. But it's what is needed in this one. All in all, Cody Rhodes has been a great champion. He's always in action. He's done some solid storytelling as champion, even when the story at his feet isn't great. I think there were parts of that Bloodline 2.0 story that were done very well. But I think all in all, it fell a little flatter than they wanted it to. But he feels, and that is why he's number 1. He feels like he is the superhero of WWE. And that is not, to quote Sam Roberts of Not Sam Wrestling, that is never shown more than when he is opposed to a supervillain. That's what he said. And right now, John Cena is a supervillain. Cody Rhodes looks great, but I just want a little bit more out of heel Cena. Is that too much to ask? John, I know we've asked a lot of you for 25 years, but is that too much to ask going into WrestleMania that you actually fight back on the mic against the person you're actually going to be fighting against? That's where I stand with. But all in all, still very entertaining, still very excited for what we're going to see on April 20th. So that's my top 3 right now. Top 3 current champions in WWE. Number 3 is the world's heavyweight champion, Gunther. Number 2 is the Intercontinental Champion, Bron Breakker. And number 1 is the American Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes. Let me know in the comment section who your top 3 current champions are on the main roster in WWE.